Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I wanted to make a video just kind of signal boosting this because, well, you know how Wizards constantly virtue signals, as they call, about diversity and treating everyone equally, and honestly, that's not even their message. It's really just gender and skin color. And orientation. That's all you ever hear from them. But you know how companies like to say one thing and then do another because what they're saying is just for them to pat themselves on the back and it's an image thing, and then when it comes to what they actually do, they're still pretty terrible. That's like all of corporate America, by the way. Well, on June 8th, 2020, somebody named Zaim Beg, pardon me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, decided to kind of blow the lid on what they thought Wizards was kind of screwing up. I will link to the original Google Docs doc. It's down in the description. And obviously, I'm not even going to attempt to put ads on this. It got removed on the last video about this topic. So that's what I need is 2 videos in a row not making money. Oh, wait. What's that in my pocket? It's my pimped out Discover card with my custom American flag artwork on it. So if you're one of those people that was like, yeah, Visa sent me something in the mail around the time I turned 18, they're like, you can get a crappy credit card with no rewards and terrible support. Cool, this one's better. My Visa card is now sitting in my car in case I forget my wallet when I go to the gas station. That's pretty much the usefulness of it. I have not used that thing in forever. You can do so much more from the Discover website. They do free dark web monitoring for identity theft with, hello, 0 annual fee, ever. You can look up your FICO credit score for free. Soft hit doesn't affect it. And I was waiting for this to come back. They're running a promotion right now. If you use my link specifically down below, description, comment, I probably pasted it everywhere. If you sign up and then make a purchase within the first 90 days of getting your card, which you should, boom, $50 statement credit straight up. You might have noticed a pattern on my channel. I like sponsors where the product costs absolutely nothing. This one actually pays you. In fact, if you get your friends and family to sign up with your own referral link after you get yours, you can get $50 per person that signs up. By the way, I think this whole entire offer only applies to Americans, but if that's you and you use it between July and September for any restaurant or anything where you pay through PayPal with your Discover card as the funding thing, you will get 5% cash back on that purchase up to $75. Oh, and the card has a limited 1% cash back on everything anyway. It's the ultimate credit card with no annual fee. And by the way, the more credit card accounts that you have open and the less that of your total available credit that you use and the longer it's been in existence, the higher your credit score when you go to buy a car or a house. So do not be like my friends and hit 23 and have a credit score of 620, because you ain't buying nothing. And by the way, Discover is not supporting or sponsoring my channel in any way. It is merely an affiliate link. So back to the document by Zaim. I'm pretty sure it's Zaim. It might be Zaim. I really should have asked him. So if the name sounds familiar, he was the editor-in-chief for Channel Fireball in the past. And he was also a regular contributor for TCG Player. So big Magic the Gathering writer here. He's covered tournament play. He's covered everything. I mean, this guy, like, anybody should hire him. Also, he plays Magic all the time and is a big supporter of the Magic community in the Seattle area. He was even friends with employees there. He was friends with contractors of Wizards of the Coast. I mean, you guys know how this works. They all kind of, see each other at places and talk to each other online. And, as I well know personally, once you're in the community long enough, you get some contacts and you get some people that you can talk to about some things and you overhear some things. One of his friends was another black writer, and they had messaged Wizards, I believe, multiple times about any kind of writing opening because they constantly wanted writers for articles or whatever. And they kept replying, we're not accepting new writers. And the whole time, we're talking about a year and a half, the whole time they kept hiring new white writers. I mean, that's just straight up lying to a person. Like, if you're like, we don't like your writing style, or we have a reason to not hire you, like a legitimate reason, then you tell the person. They literally just lied to them. I mean, why would you lie to them, say you're not hiring, and then keep hiring other writers? That's... what the hell? Like, you almost have to jump to the conclusion that it's because of their skin color. Or something similarly petty. I mean, that's just unbelievable. A different person who just happened to have black-colored skin interviewed at Wizards for a job, and they said that they started off the interview being told, I've never had this many internal recommendations, aka staff members and friends and contractors of the company saying, hire this person, they're amazing, and then 3 minutes later say you're not really a cultural fit here. To me, that sounds like they found some vaguely conservative-leaning post from 5 years ago on social media and were like, you're not a good cultural fit here. I don't know if it was necessarily racism, but then you've got the first incident to kind of build on as evidence, so Also remember Kaladesh, based on Indian culture, Indian stylings, architecture, dress, that kind of stuff. Remember the one-drop vehicle, the Consulate Dreadnought, that's 7 power, 11 toughness, aka 711? which is a chain of convenience stores in some parts of America that the stupid stereotype is, oh, only Indians work there, which I believe is not necessarily untrue because there is a program that helps them like come here and get jobs, and that's one of the places. That's why so many Chinese restaurants spring up with like similar menus but different names. It's all the same parent company, and they just like literally help people like escape their bad environment in China, come here and immediately manage a restaurant. They give them loans and stuff. It's like an immigration program, but like a really good one that does it legally and provides like a support structure. If you haven't heard about this stuff, you should read up on it. It is wonderful. So yeah, the Indian gas station owner. Yeah, it's a thing, but like mentioning it as like funny joke is pretty offensive. But that didn't allegedly stop Mark Rosewater in this quote. He says, "My first thought on seeing this card was how I could have stuck convenient in either its name or flavor text if I'd been doing flavor text. Parentheses, perhaps a strong sign that I shouldn't be doing name and flavor text. For those unaware, 7-Eleven is an American chain of convenience stores. My second thought was that this must be a new power and toughness combination. Nope, turns out we've done it twice before." So he was like, 7-Eleven, let's put convenience in the flavor text. Good thing I'm not in charge, or I totally would have done that as a joke. Did he notice at the time that it was an Indian-based set? My guess would be yes. But then again, this was like, 2019? So at best, insensitive. At worst, holy shit, offensive shot at Indian people. And apparently Zayam had talked to some other, black people who have applied to jobs at Wizards and been told you don't have experience for this role. And then they like follow up with the whole freaking profile and history of the person they do end up hiring. And they're like, okay, that's just some dumbass with a feminist dance degree. And I have like an English degree. What the hell? I don't know if that exact scenario ever happened. I'm just kind of, using it as an example of what they're hinting at here. When it comes right down to it, basically the word on the street is anybody with brown or darker skin, the only way you're going to work at Wizards is as a contractor, where basically they're just like, here, send someone. I guess they have to kind of approve it, but even then they even said probably only as a temporary contractor because they could still decline you. I mean, the very first job I worked out of college was at a hospital working IT, and the existing IT department just subcontracted us basically because they were all contractors, and they're just like, yeah, these resumes look good, yeah, send them. And at least in the second wave of the project, 3 out of my 6 team members were fired in the first 3 days. So let's just say they don't always care when they're just like, we need somebody to do the job. Sure, this person looks okay on paper, we'll take your word for it. And then you just send whoever. That's how you get a job at Wizards of the Coast if you're brown. At this point, the way that this evidence is building, and I've heard this from multiple people, I just initially wrote it off as, oh, they like to whine. Yeah, I didn't get the job, so it's immediately going to be, about race. But when a certain amount of people say it, you got to start to wonder. I've heard so many stories that at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in the security office at Wizards of the Coast headquarters, they just have a sign that says, if they're brown, pat them down. So even if you are a person of really any color, it sounds like, other than white, and you get a temporary contractor position, they won't hire you on full time because, oh, you got beat out. Oh, we found somebody better for the job. And then they'll hire somebody who has like never done the job before and start like at zero. They'll start with basic training for the job day one, and the person has no idea what they're doing, instead of the person who's been doing the job for several months. Then we got people who made like an on-the-job mistake or some kind of minor rules offense. Boom, immediately gone, you're out. While white people get away with whatever the hell they want there. They have first chances, second chances, third chances. I mean, let me just put this delicately. If you hire someone from one of the groups that they won't shut up about constantly, and then you try to fire them, immediately you're going to potentially get sued for discrimination. If you bring up the mechanic titled Megamorph, you are immediately going to get reported to HR for discrimination against a certain group by a certain person. The person who invented the mechanic. So touchy people who constantly see themselves as the victim everywhere, try and fire them. When their little bubble says all of society's out to get you and you're always a victim, anything bad that happens to you, it's somebody else's fault and it was malicious, and you need to sue for discrimination anytime somebody looks at you wrong, try and hire somebody like that and then fire them. That's why I think the contractors that are just, people of color, well, they're just like, well, whatever, they won't sue us. And then, boy, apparently you do not want to be the person of color at the company working as a contractor who brings up like a little, could we not do this? Or I have a complaint about this, or I don't like the way we do this, because you're gone. You are never going to advance. You are never going to get hired on, and you might as well just wait for that pink slip. So like I said, these are all alleged stories, but I mean, when a certain number of people keep telling you the same damn story. Now, full disclosure, according to Glassdoor.com, which is, reviews of a company from people who used to work there and left, upper management are dicks. They treat everybody like shit. There's no accountability for the constant mistakes they keep making. Corporate culture there is terrible. They're all immature and obnoxious. The company's design is a disaster, and it is absolutely terrible for every last person to work there. Now, that said, so could this person be attributing it to race when it has nothing to do with race? Maybe, but some of these where they're like, we're not hiring you, and then they hire somebody worse. Their hiring decisions are usually based on politics and orientations and, well, gender, and they will illegally prioritize them and discriminate against anybody else. That's a very, very commonly held belief from a lot of evidence backing it up. Well, and they themselves admitting multiple times, we look forward to hiring more people from the LGBTQ plus community. Cool, that's illegal. You can't prioritize them as a group. You're literally discriminating against straight people. But for all the times they say, yeah, like, the game's too white, we need to make it less white. Apparently they aren't referring to their own companies. So just look at, like, the pictures of the staff. Like, all the core staff, and any staff member you can find at the Wizards of the Coast branch of Hasbro. And just look at what color they are. It would appear from the evidence that they don't hire people of color. And if you didn't hear about this, they had the job listing for and hired more people for their department where they constantly scour their employees' personal social media accounts to see if they say anything that they don't agree with, and then they bring it up, Monday morning, and they'll be lucky if they don't get fired. I'm not kidding, they do that. Oh, the position they expanded it to was now they investigate content creators, partners, and other players and members of the Pro League. Oh, and we already know they do it to their artists, because that's why they suspended one of their artists and refused to work with them ever again. Because they hit like on a Trump tweet that I think was like about some trans thing that really honestly was like supporting the community, but that's not the way they took it. I think it was about like mental health assistance for them or something. I don't know. I know plenty of trans people that got therapy and were better because of it. So it's like saying, that, that's so discriminatory. Well, results would say otherwise. Someone else at the company, I'm not going to disclose their name, but it is in the document, says, I have been reprimanded for expressing personal opinions on Facebook. To provide more context, somebody was expressing their frustration about a decision in Europe, and I commented something like, not my call, this is a local decision, because, they don't live in Europe. And a screenshot of my answer was sent to my boss. I got scolded for not playing team. What the hell does that have to do with your job? I'm not sure what the laws are in Seattle, but that sounds like you could actually sue them if they fired you for bullshit like that. In Wisconsin, you can go into an interview and have the person ask you, what did you vote in the last election, and then hire them accordingly, and it's perfectly legal. That's not true on some of the more coastal states. They also leaked, I guess, I don't know if this was necessarily not supposed to be public, the contract that you sign to be in the Magic Pro League. Holy shit. You guys should go read it. I don't have time to just read it verbatim, but oh my gosh. It's some like Nazi Germany thought police bullshit. It is like you are now the Wizards of the Coast propaganda department and you better watch what you say. So then they mentioned something that I don't agree with. It's the Jason Chan situation. It's a dude who streams and is just short of like 1 million followers. He got kind of aggressive with the judge. I'm not sure the whole situation. I wasn't there. We got a he said, she said thing. But there's the typical like recommended, punishment for getting aggressive with the judge. And he got more than that. But, well, he was streaming Magic, so they just kind of super down low like banned him so that he could still stream online and then they could still have him like bring in new customers. And I guess like the whole thing behind it is like they wouldn't have cracked down so hard on him if he wasn't Chinese. I guess, I don't know. Like I said, I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with the shady way they treated him. Doesn't really have a lot to do with race, but it was some shady bullshit. They also continued to lie to him and treat him like shit in the future, and yeah. Like, they gave these huge, like, multi-page write-up opportunities to 2 other white guys, and then they gave him, like, a screenshot of a tweet and, like, a paragraph. It was in an article where they were reaching out to pros and big names, to do it. So either they held a grudge about his suspension, or they just really do not like people of color writing for them. Then we got the account of Greg Orange on Twitter who says, yeah, I'm black and I wasn't included to be in the MPL for some reason. Like, I'm as good as everybody else. Why wasn't I included? And then remember some of the initial lineups for these tournaments, and I think before they called it the MPL, where they, like, had Mafer MTG, who turns out to be, we'll say, extremely anti-Semitic. I can't repeat what they said, but let's just say Hitler might have thought twice about saying it. And while they included her because she had, 80 followers on Twitch or something, I'm not even kidding. But she was a Latino female and allegedly a lesbian. Or no, I think she was bi. I don't know. I think she said that after they tried to ban her, so they call that pulling a Kevin Spacey. And then they had to kick her out. So it's like, yeah, they're trying to tick a lot of boxes. It's just, why is one of those boxes never black? Looking at the lineups, I'm starting to wonder why they wouldn't let Greg in, who has a bigger following. Then we had somebody, once again, I'm going to hide the name. They said, does anybody have a list of black magic artists? And like every reply was like, good luck. The entire community crowdsourced one name. And then the name they come up with, they tagged him, and he says, sadly, as I learned recently, there are very, 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 very few of us. I heard two numbers, 1 and 4. Not sure which of them is true. By the way, I assume the 1 means himself. And by the way, in the art community, in general, there are a lot of black artists, just in general in America. Like, I believe a higher percentage than the population, because, it's kind of like people are like, oh, why are all sports players black when this percentage, whatever? Because it's a really good way to get out of poverty. Get some big expensive sports contract. That's why a lot of people are like, there's my ticket. So just a higher percentage of the people aspire to that, and then more people apply, and because more people apply, more people get through, and there you go. It's very, very similar for artists. It's like you go to some shitty inner city school, well, guess what? If you're good at art, career, there you go. Plus, the black community tends to really respect and, have a good opinion of art and artists. So it's very accepting. So for 1 to 4 of them to ever make a card art for Wizards of the Coast, what the hell is going on? Where are they hiring these people from? The White Artists Brigade, is that a thing? The Whites Only Gallery? It's one of those things where maybe it was an accident. But then again, they clearly care who they hire as artists, because look at the number of female artists that they hire and look at the number of LGBTQ plus artists that they hire. That's a bit higher than their natural percentage in the art community. So they clearly have a type that they're going after. You can just look at all the artists collectively. They clearly have some parameters that they're looking for in an artist. They're picky, they have an agenda, and then what's the result of that? One black artist. So you can look at it and say, oh, it's just more people blaming everything on race because people love to do that. Oh, you didn't get the contract, must be race again. Yeah, sure it is. But then, look at the evidence. It's stacking up. I have to agree. I think Wizards of the Coast is massively, not overtly purposely racist, but subconsciously maybe they have some kind of aversion to black people. I don't know. I don't know what the f***'s going on. All I know is they don't work there. They don't hire them. They constantly treat them differently. They fire them all the time. You can just let the results speak for themselves. They're looking awfully damn suspicious. With every hiring decision, staff bio, every artist feature, every time they pick somebody, handpick them for a tournament, take all of it collectively. The pattern that I've personally been seeing over the last 7 or 8 years, the conclusion that I would come to is they really, really, really care about your orientation and gender as long as you're white. It's just to me, that appears to be what they're doing. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe that's just how the cookie crumbled. And then they turn around and, hashtag Black Lives Matter on Twitter. Which, that whole movement, this whole protest has now devolved into pictures of white people flipping off black cops. It's really just angry liberals, dumbass millennials, and anarchists trying to frame black people right now. The more of these dumbass rioters they can arrest, the better. They are the worst of the worst that society can produce. If you start throwing bricks at firefighters, I don't know why those firefighters don't have guns on them. I would have started shooting some bricks out of some people's hands in the crowd. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, in this whole SJW diversity movement thing, you'll find a whole bunch of hypocrisy. A whole bunch of say one thing and do another. A whole bunch of, I like Michael Jackson in his news and he's innocent, but I wouldn't let him babysit my kids. You know what I mean? I like to say one thing because it's the popular opinion, but back in, private, in my real life, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do the way I really feel. It's I can hear those stupid, stuck-up, rich, arrogant, I've had my position, my high-ranking position at Wizards for 20-year assholes that work there being like, oh, we could hire this person, but don't black people commit more crimes? Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Let's just hire another gay guy. Because diversity and equality. So I would like to absolutely thank Zaim for sharing his accounts, his stories, what he's heard from other people. I mean, all the complaints, the artist problem, all that, putting it all together in a document, which I'm going to link to down in the description. I would recommend you read the whole thing. Some of it's like, wow, I would love an explanation. This is really something. And some of it's like, circumstantial. But, you know, the totality of it is Wizards has a problem. So it would appear. And people are starting to like read this document and hear certain, you know, rumblings in the community about, hey, I didn't get hired. That's kind of weird. Hey, they said this to me. Hey, when I worked there, this happened. And lately, like literally the last couple days, it is really blowing up into a huge thing. They are getting so much shit on social media. So that's why I'm like, I got to make a video on this. This is a news story that's blowing up. It is an absolute dumpster fire. So I'm like, here comes the Desolator Magic channel with a big sheet of cardboard to fan the flames. Let's really get this shit raging. Because, I mean, my area of Wisconsin, we have everyone living here. Everyone. And it's not like New York City, everyone, where you got, oh, there's Chinatown and this is where all the black people live and this is where, and they all keep to themselves. We work together, we go to school together, nobody here gives a shit what color you are. One of my friends in school, I actually did not know what race he was for about 3 years. I mean, the extent of it was, I don't know, he's Asian, who cares? I found out, oh, his grandparents are from Thailand, that's cool. Literally irrelevant to any way I think about them or treat them, but neat. Actually, one of the kids in my graduating class, he made a comment like right at the end of the year when we were all watching movies after finals that like something like the food at his graduation was going to be totally lit because his like the Latino side of his family was coming. And like a couple people to me were like, I legitimately thought he was white for like 12 years. When you reach that level of not giving a shit about what somebody's race is, that you don't even think twice about it or think to ask them or think to even think about it, that's equality. That's diversity. That's true like lack of prejudice. That's where I wish everybody would get to. Instead of this, oh, we're going to put up a diverse front, and then we're going to do something completely differently because people of color are scary, apparently, and aren't good workers, or whatever the hell's going on over at Wizards. And I got to say, personally, what I've noticed as somebody who lives in an area where discrimination is just not a thing at all, the constant SJW narrative of like diversity, inclusion, anti-racism, and all that, what it comes down to, if you look at what they're really saying, is every interaction you have with somebody you just met in your life, everything you do, everything you say, the first thought on your mind better be their gender, their skin color, and their orientation. That should be the first thought in your mind, and it controls everything about how you treat them and what you say. When if you want to solve the problem, treat everybody like a human being. Don't give a shit what color, what gender, just you're talking to a person. SJWs are the biggest promoters of racism I've ever seen in my life. The whole, you can't talk this way, you can't do that, you shouldn't see this movie, you can't wear this dress because that's cultural appropriation, everybody needs to stay in their lane and this history and that. I've got an idea. How about people just do whatever the fuck they want, and my entire opinion of a person is going to be based on like how they treat me, what they say, what we talk about, and basically they're starting at zero when I meet them. And if they're an asshole, I'm not going to attribute it to anything about their skin color, gender, or anything else. Age, it's just, oh, there's an asshole. But no, the SJW agenda is you need to be thinking about race and gender and orientation constantly. You might think you're thinking about it enough, but you're not thinking about it enough. When you see a black person, you better treat them differently because they're oppressed and they're a victim and needs help and you need to treat them differently. I'm sure they love that. That's a great idea. What a not offensive idea that totally doesn't demean them. It's like cut the activist virtue signaling bullshit online and all the posing and all the look how great I am, look how much more woke I am, look how polite I am in society, I'm so much better than you, and actually start fixing the problem and actually get rid of discrimination. That's why these fake ass blowhard assholes at Wizard of the Coast that constantly won't shut up about all this shit, that's why I like blowing the lid off this, because they are such lying hypocrites. And their agenda is bullshit and racist anyway. So shocker, they all turn out to be racist in their hiring and contractor choice, apparently it would seem. Gee, I'm so surprised. The Wizards is so far up their own ass with this SJW bullshit, if they finally hired a black person at their company, they would send out a press release about it saying, hey, we just hired a black person, isn't that great? We're so proud of ourselves, look how diverse we are. Not realizing that that would be unbelievably offensive and racist to do that. Look at this special, amazing person that we just hired. They're not like everybody else. Woo, we're so great. Diversity. I think it's time to fire all the purple hair SJWs from your company and get a fucking clue and then hire some people based on, you know, their merits and how good they'll do at the job before you get a class action lawsuit shoved up your ass, Wizards. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next video. And don't forget to sign up for a Discover credit card, link down in the description.